Hello everyone, welcome to another one of my walking videos. I am at Trafalgar Square and the aim today is to walk to Tate Britain, where we'll be going in to have a look at the Tate Gallery and the arts and paintings in there. So this walk will take us through Trafalgar Square, Whitehall, Parliament Street, then Millbank, where Tate Britain is located. So as you can see, Trafalgar Square is basically a big open space in the centre of London. And see this very tall column we are walking up towards? That is Nelson's column. At the very top is a statue of Lord Admiral Nelson. He was the man who commanded the British Navy at the time that won the Battle of Trafalgar, which this square is named after. In fact, let me just read up the information I found on Wikipedia about Trafalgar Square. So here goes. Trafalgar Square is a public square in the city of Westminster, central London, built around the area formerly known as Charing Cross. Its name commemorates the Battle of Trafalgar, a British naval victory in the Napoleonic Wars over France and Spain that took place on 21st October 1805 off the coast of Cape Trafalgar. So there you go. Therefore, basically, this square is named after that battle, and literally this is the centre of London because this is where all the distances from London is measured from. In fact, we'll come to that exact point in a minute. I will point it out to you when we get there. And just ahead of us there, that building in the background, that is the National Gallery. It's a free gallery. You can go in and have a look at it. It has some fantastic paintings and works of arts in there. Right, this is where things gets a bit complicated and confusing. I've done a bit of research on it, and I think this is how it goes. We are just crossing the road here from Trafalgar Square to this little circular roundabout, and this roundabout here is known as King Charles Island because see that statue of a man on horseback there? That is King Charles I. But originally, where that statue is, there was an Eleanor's Cross, and that is the exact point where all the distances from London are measured from. And here is the plaque that says all the distance from London are measured from where that statue is. However, you don't hear people say, oh, so-and-so is 10 miles from King Charles' statue, or so-and-so is 8 miles from King Charles I's statue in London, because no one ever say that. No one knows what King Charles I's statue is. You would hear people say, oh, so-and-so is 10 miles from the Charing Cross or 10 miles from Trafalgar Square, because originally, that point where King Charles I's statue is, there was an Eleanor's Cross. Eleanor was a queen of King Edward I. She died, and the king had a whole bunch of Eleanor's crosses erected in memory of her, and one of them was placed at that statue where King Charles I is. And at the time, this area was known as Charing, so I guess the name Eleanor's Cross, mixing up with Charing, became known as the Charing Cross. I guess no one knows where that original Eleanor's Cross is now. It's long gone, and that point is now replaced by that King Charles I statue. However, there is a replica of the Eleanor's Cross right outside Charing Cross Station, which is practically next to Trafalgar Square. That's why people still refer to distances in London as measured from the Charing Cross or Trafalgar Square instead of King Charles I statue, which is really confusing because uh, that King Charles I statue is actually where the distances are measured from, but people still say, oh, distances from so and so are 10 miles from Trafalgar Square or 10 miles from the Charing Cross. And to make things even more complicated and confusing, as if it's not complicated enough already, this roundabout here, where the King Charles statue is named King Charles Island. I guess it's named it after him. But if you were to tell people to go to the Charing Cross to take an exact measurement distance from London or something, they might ended up going to Charing Cross Station or Trafalgar Square instead of coming to this King Charles statue where the exact measurement is supposed to be measured from. We are now walking down Whitehall. Once upon a time, there was a Whitehall palace along here where the king and royalty lived. It was the biggest palace in Europe at the time, but it got burnt down and destroyed. Nowadays, it's mostly government offices. So you have the Cabinet Office, the Foreign Office, the Treasury, Ministry of Defence, Transport. They're all along here somewhere. A bit further down, we'll come to Downing Street as well. And then we'll continue walking down towards Parliament Street. And towards that end, there'll be the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben. This is Horseguard, and changing of a guard is going on. That's why there are so many people here. We can just about get a glimpse of it. It happened twice a day in the summer, I think, in the morning and afternoon, and this is the afternoon session, but couldn't really see very much of it because there were so many people. This is Downing Street. Well, through the gate on the other side is Downing Street, where the Prime Minister and Chancellor live. And that's why there's another whole bunch of tourists crowding, mingling around here. At this end, we have the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben. Big Ben is undergoing major renovation work. That's why it's being totally covered up by scaffolding. It's going to be like this for a few years yet. Similarly, the Houses of Parliament is undergoing the same thing. There's major renovation work going on at this place because it's such an old structure that is falling apart. They are going to be covered for a long time, spending billions of pounds on it to try and patch it up and put it back into good use again. That's it everyone, we are coming to the end of this video, but the walk shall continue into part 2 of the video, where we'll get to Tate Britain, we'll have a look around the Tate Gallery, and then continue our walk around Pimlico. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and I shall see you again in the next video. Bye!